Welcome back again. Back to rushing round, unfortunately. I've had a hell of a day. I was supposed to be out fishing at 3 o'clock. I didn't leave the house till 5:20. So we have started. I've had an hour's fishing already. I was with the boys, a bit further down. I'm in between the Bendricks and Cambria, so the border of Surrey and Barry really. And it's high water, or it's gone high water, so I didn't actually get here till gone high water. I've had an hour's fishing down there. I've had 5 dogs on a spot in an hour, so I thought I'd move and just mix it up. There's a bit more ground at this end, bit of a risk, but I thought maybe get on the ground, maybe try and pull out an eel or a bass or a hound and just try something different rather than wading through the dogs for the rays. I'm not quite happy to bypass the rays and try and catch something else. So we're going to start with a 3-0 dongle and we're going to try and see if we catch a hound. Like I said, the mud finishes around by here and low water here is quite rough. And I have had thornbacks, eels, bass, you name it here, low water, and it is quite graunch out there, but hopefully having a bit of leverage, I'm on these nice big flat ledges, will give me a bit of an advantage. So excuse my impatience, but I need to get this in the water. Now we're fishing. Drag on, ratchet on. Hopefully there's a bit of tide out there, bit of ground, and hopefully we can catch something other than a dogfish. We might not. I won't show you any dogs so I catch him. Yeah, I can feel that rod pulling around in my hand. There's definitely a lot more tide at this end. So that's a good sign. Always a good sign, bit of tide. Second rod, I got a fish bait, rotten bottom on the other one too, just in case. Rather be safe than sorry. I'm going to put a fish bait. I'm not going to put this one as far. I want to be in that ground. I want to see what is living in front of me, if there is something there. So here's a little scan around where we are. That path there is the old path where we used to walk around HMS Cambria onto the ledges. So we've got nice long flat ledges all the way along, all the way down to the tump, where you can see Justin and Kev just in the distance. They had some fish, they were catching dogs. Kev had a nice fawny. So there's a few fish round, but let's mix it up and try something different. I've got my stand spread out nice and low. I can't find any rocks, so I can't find any rocks to stabilise it. I've put the legs out nice and wide just to give it that lower centre of gravity. They're sat nice in the tide. Well, in all fairness, the tide is dropping really quick and I'm not going to have long here, and it's just as well, so I've got literally a scraping of bait to use up. It's all 3 throws from yesterday. I got 1 live crab with me left. I put 1 live crab out and looked like there was a bit of an indication on the rod there, hopefully not a dogfish, but it's a bit like familiarity. We all like familiarity. We all like to go and fish exactly the same spot. When you go to the supermarket, most people go and park in the same area of the supermarket, and that's human nature. So by spreading out, doing something different, like I have today, I've moved 250 yards down the ledges. I can work out and get some sort of indication and some experience somewhere else, so you know in the future, because in the future you may come down and there might be chocker, there might be 6-7 people down by there, but then you may have some confidence to know you could go somewhere else and still do okay. So there's my spare fish bait, a nice juicy lump of mackerel, half an anchovy, there's a big lump of bluey on there as well, nice and juicy. On the needle, pull it out, stick that top hook in, and hopefully it'll draw something out to feed. Remember, a couple of turns around the top, that's how I do it. It doesn't matter how you do it how you're comfortable and confident doing it. Some people use tubing, some people lock it off with stop knots. I like a couple of turns around the top hook. That's locked in nice and tight. I can pull that bottom hook and that top hook is nice and locked in. So we've got 2 hooks nicely presented outside the bait. And there's my second bait. A 3-0 dongle, bit of crab. I might even lob this one 40-50 yards. If I don't get anything further out on this cast, I might just lob this one onto the proper rough, the big boulders. Because sometimes as that water's moving away from the beach, the fish are quite in close. They're right on the edge, moving out with the water, picking up the food as they're scurrying away and finding places to hide and find sanctuary for the rest of the day and the rest of the tide. Sometimes they're right on the edge, right in close. They're not always at distance, and it's really easy to overcast fish. So we'll just see how these casts go. They've held where they are, which tells me that I am on a good bit of ground, because when I was further down they were dragging, it was dragging around in the mud, and where they are now they've held and they've stayed and they've settled, which really does tell me that I've locked in somewhere and hopefully there won't be a dogfish on the end. Well, there was a pair of dogs on that cast. Luckily one of them fell off as I went to lift it up, because we are quite high at the moment, for about 15 foot above the water, but we still got water beneath us. It's a nice viewpoint here. Got Sully Island, Flatholme, Sand Point, Steepholme, Green down in the distance. As we pan round to the right, we got the Bendricks obviously, green light, white light and Nels. So you've got a lot of visuals here, really nice to see. I used to come here a lot as a kid, used to fish this area religiously, jump on my bike with my rods and my box and my bait, come down here, have a few hours, catch some straps, some pouting, some schoolies, nice memories. It's nice to come down here and reminisce, remember how things used to be. And do you know what, that's one of the great things about being on the beach. The beach don't change. This is exactly the same as it was 30 years ago when I was down here fishing. You look around everywhere inland, everywhere's changing, it's getting built on and developed, but this is exactly the same. On my third and final cast here now, I've levered as far as I can, absolutely put every ounce of my toenails into it, my crab bait on my dongle, and straight away I've had a hell of a bang, 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 and it's lifted and banged and it's settled. I think it's an eel, but I don't think it's hooked up because it's on a dongle. That's the way it goes, unfortunately. I've left it out there, I haven't moved it, it's settled again. And the other one with the fish bait, I've pushed further to the left just to see. So last cast, I didn't have anything on it when I lobbed 60 yards into the rocks, and I had another dog on the fish bait further out. So we'll see in a minute. I'll give that bait a few more minutes, because if it has been smashed by an eel, then it's no good to no one, is it? Nothing else is going to want it. So it's worth noting that if you have had a bite and nothing's happened after 5 minutes, sometimes it's worth getting it in, because if it's been hit and smashed up, then it ain't going to be any good, is it? Might as well get in and change it. Unfortunately, it is my last cast. It is starting to rain. I haven't got a coat, but it doesn't matter. I've had 2 hours out, the water's going. Let's get it in. I'm about done. I am feeling rather crispy. I need to go get some medicine in me, because I feel rough as a badger's ass. So I've got one rod out still. I lost the end on the last one. It was completely locked up. Take a risk. I like taking risks. That's how I am. See what happens in it. On the positive, we have a charity open on Sunday, Mark Cowles, Lanford Major Charity Open. The limits are absolutely huge, so I really think it could be won from anywhere. There'll be a lot of people fishing it. If you are fishing it, good luck. And yeah, you know, all the money goes to selected charities, which is really good. Mark runs it every year. He does a fantastic job, and it's really good to be part and support these events, because that's what a community is about. Oh, I am not feeling the best, but there we go. At least I'm outside, fresh air, and I get this one in, get home. I think I know everyone is really fed up of the dogfish in South Wales at the moment, but in all fairness, it's the same every year, and the ray fishing isn't that spectacular down in the Barry area at the moment, so I don't think you're really missing much. I know it's a bit better at Bogmore and Witches Way and that sort of area, Porthcawl, but this end, it's not the best at the moment. And in all fairness, we have been really lucky in the last 6-7 years where the ray fishing has been absolutely spectacular, and I've seen this happen time and time again over the years. We get good years for some species, bad years the next year, and that's how it goes. That's fishing, it's cycles, and I think a lot of the species go in cycles over 2, 3, 5, 10-year periods, and no doubt it'll pick up, it'll get better. There'll be more fish out there soon. The dogfish will thin out, the hounds will come in, they'll push the dogs out, and then you'll start seeing a few more rays then, hopefully. Right, I'm not going to show you what's on this rig because this is not a go get the dogs production. Hope you enjoyed watching it. Wasn't that great, 2 hours fishing, you know. I did have a spotty earlier on, but unfortunately I wasn't really filming then. So that's it, end of story, end of sport. Thanks for watching. If you need anything, builds, repairs, merchandise, guiding, casting, whatever, let me know. If you want to go to fish a certain mark, you want to go fish a certain mark, give us a ring, give us a message, we'll sort it out and I'll run it through with you. It's not a problem. Thanks for watching. Tight lines. I'm going home to nurse my cold. Have a shower, get to bed, up at 5 for work in the morning. Have a great weekend, tight lines, and hopefully I'll see some of you on Sunday at the match.